How's it going, folks? It's Lobo and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have the teaser trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've already seen this teaser. I first saw it play before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then I saw it when it leaked on Reddit, and today, earlier, I have seen it on my phone. So I'm not gonna lie, I've already seen this thing 3 times. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna rewatch it, just plain and simple, and I'll offer you guys some insight because I would say I'm pretty well educated in the universe of Avatar. Not that much, but pretty much. We'll go over that more afterwards, but anyway, let's just get into the footage. I haven't seen it with headphones on yet, so I guess that's a plus I'm looking forward to. And you could say in better quality, but then again, I've said this a lot of times. My TV that I use, that I plug my PC into, is just not HD, so you get what you get, but whatever, man. It's still gonna look very good. James Cameron always makes sure his movies look great. Those colors definitely look so good. I still can't get over Jake with the new hairstyle. The water physics we'll go over later is very impressive. Nobody's saying it, but I'll say it. I noticed this on my first watch in theaters. This guy, ready? This avatar right here in the gun, I think that's Miles Quaritch. He has the same exact tattoo. And James Cameron confirmed he's returning for the sequels.
I know one thing. Wherever we go, this family.
The colors in this are outstanding.
Is our fortress.
Stupid Top Gun Maverick. The music in this sounds so damn good. I think, here's the thing. Around the time Dune released, I made a video on it. I did a reaction to Dune. You can actually see it in the description. I liked the movie. I enjoyed it. There goes, okay, there goes everything. I enjoyed Dune. I didn't love it though. It was just not really for me, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie, but that just got me in the mood to rewatch Avatar. So from the time frame of when Dune released to now, I think Dune released in October of last year, potentially. Anyway, that time frame, I have roughly rewatched it about 5 or 6 times. So to give you a little bit more of like a ballpark of where I'm at to how much I know about this, for reference, I don't watch a lot of movies, but the movies that I do watch, the movies that I really love, I rewatch the shit out of them. So for example, The Batman, which released a little over 2 months ago, I've seen that movie 18 times. I've been keeping count. I've seen that movie 18 times. So with that being said, when you look back on Avatar releasing in 2009, I would say lowball, at the very least, I've seen Avatar 35 or 40 times, potentially more. That's just like the least. The least amount I would believe is around 40 times of how much I've seen the first Avatar movie. So I have definitely seen it a lot of times, and I kind of know my shit when it comes to this, but as I was saying in the trailer, I noticed a few things that I saw on my first watch because I was like, oh, I know these people when I was playing in front of Doctor Strange, which I knew it would, but I got the feeling that minus the general audience, I was the only one who really understood like certain things, like implications of the story. And I've also pretty much been keeping up with what James Cameron has had to say about the franchise and its future, as well as the actor Sam Worthington. And I do believe that one of the avatars you see in the trailer holding the gun, he has kind of like the military cut. I think that is Miles Quaritch, who was, if you don't remember, he was pretty much the commander, old guy dude that was like super jacked. And Jesus, Stephen Lang. Why did that slip my mind? I can't believe I forgot Stephen Lang. That's who the actor is. I couldn't remember that. I don't know why. But anyway, again, he was just the guy in charge. He sort of took over the operation. He was supposed to be the military sort of guns hands because he was working for Parker Selfridge, who the RDA sent to get unobtainium, The Rock. I know a lot of people kind of made fun of the name. I mean, it was unobtained. You can't really get it on Earth, so it makes sense. And also, I think I read somewhere that scientists, our scientists today, that's an actual mineral. Like, not physically, but it's a name for one that they're gonna put on a mineral that's in outer space or something. But that's an actual scientific name. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, James Cameron comes up with the stupidest names. That's a real scientific name that our dumbasses came up with in the scientific world. So, okay, it's real. But anyway, yeah, so he's back, I think, because he has the sort of eagle, very patriotic American tattoo on his left arm, and the avatar there has it as well. And I heard he was going to be back for the sequels. I'm like, how he died? But it makes sense that they somewhat got his body. Maybe they cryogenically froze it. I don't know. And then they upload his consciousness into an avatar. And he finally matured, and he came back because it takes a while for the avatar body to mature unless they redesign them. Because I know there's a difference between the Na'vi and the avatars. As you can see with Jake, he's the only one with eyebrows. The regular Na'vi don't have that. Only avatars do. Also, avatars have 5 fingers and toes, generally, like Neytiri and shit. They all have 4, and they have like a giant gap in between their toes because they're missing a toe. They only have 4 as well. And another thing you can look at is the like muscle density, their mass. Avatars are bigger, like they're bulkier because there's more muscle mass because it's a mix of human DNA with the DNA of the natives. So you could definitely see what's here. I have the feeling that when it comes to Miles Quaritch being back, he's going to be enhanced a bit. Like, I have a feeling because he looks a bit meatier than when Jake was in his sort of prime. Because I think Jake got a little bit skinny. It would make sense, but Jake originally, when he came out, he was like looking like a slight unit when he came out. But Miles here, being a military man, always working out, yeah, he's packing. So I definitely think that's him. I don't know who he's with. Maybe that's Waynfleet, because that guy is also coming back. I just recently saw him in Daredevil. He's playing like the tailor in Daredevil. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I know that actor. But I heard he was coming back too. I'm like, all the James Cameron's dead characters in the first Avatar are making a return. Even Grace Augustine, Sigourney Weaver is coming back. I'm like, how? Nobody stays dead, but yeah, looks like they're all returning. I know a few things about the plot line to where you saw a child in here wearing sort of like the oxygen mask, and he had a bow and a bunch of blue tattoos. I think that's like Jake's adopted son, and I think his name is Spider, potentially. Again, I read a lot of shit, but it was a long time ago, so I'm really going off of my memory. But just as for the trailer itself, I thought this was great. The music was phenomenal. I think they have a different composer because unfortunately the first one from Avatar died in a plane crash, if I'm not mistaken, which is terrible. But I know that the person who did the music for the sequels was, I don't know if a close friend, but a close associate. So they definitely have a lot of things in tune because it still feels like Avatar, but something new, like almost like a new direction. So I think the music works really well in this form, and just like in this trailer, it sounded really good. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I have to say, from this trailer alone, the colors look fantastic. Everything you could have said about the first Avatar looks to be improved upon. Avatar's graphics were really good, even being a movie that is 13 years old at this point. I still think it holds up very well, but of course there are some things like coloration that might be a little bit off. Not necessarily like colors, more so like shading. Like, I always felt like the bombs and smoke in Avatar looked a little fake, like not real. Like, they didn't have that sort of flare or density that really makes up like a thick cloud of smog. And it's sort of like the lighting too. But it looks like here, natural, real lighting. It looks very good. Another thing that I just am like, wow, I'm amazed by is them swimming. And what I mean by that is, I know it's magical, but in Aquaman, I did have a few problems with not only them talking underwater. I know it's Aquaman. I know that. But when he swam, it didn't feel real. It just felt like he was an actor on strings, and then they CG'd water all around him. Versus where they actually, in this, had the actors wear the mocap suit and then put them in a tank full of water. So when they're swimming, it doesn't feel like they're almost gliding through it as if they were on a crane on strings and it was just CG in the background. It feels like they're really moving against water. You can see them sort of bob up and down in a way, and you could see them push through. Like, the physics and animations are accurate because it's real. It's mocap underwater. They even had Kate Winslet do it, so it looks very genuine, very authentic, and very organic. So I love how realistic it looks. There's nothing in this trailer that I'm like, oh, that looks bad, or that looks bad. I'm like, this all looks very good. And the biggest criticism of Avatar was its story. A lot of people called it generic, Dances with Wolves / Pocahontas ripoff. I'm like, Sure, but James Cameron also brought up a point where he's like, every movie in existence is technically a ripoff of something. Think about all the superhero movies we have. They're all ripping off one another with the common superhero story where it's like antagonists go through a story, beat the villain, have a heartfelt conversation, blah, blah, blah. Like every movie is sort of representative in another way in the past. And it's true. And it's like, that's going to continue. Imagine 100 years from now, how many movies we're going to be like, oh my God, this was just like this or this. There's only so many storylines you can do. But even so, he's taken that into account, and he has really focused on the writing of this, making it much more dramatic and tangible, and really feeling the heart of it with the Sully family. And we're definitely going to feel the emotion of this movie, the family trying to stick together no matter the cost while they're trying to undergo war and tradition. It's just, I really think this is going to be something special, not just because it's a James Cameron movie and people are underestimating him right now. I'm telling you that. People think this movie's going to flop. You have no idea. It's going to do bonkers at the box office. Definitely internationally, it's going to do way more than it would domestically, but it's still going to make a hefty amount. I still think over $2 billion. I don't know if it's going to dethrone the first Avatar, but it would not surprise me if it did. If this movie gets stellar reviews, which I really think it's going to. I really think this movie is going to be something special. People are going to be eating their words. That's all I'm going to say. People underestimating James Cameron, it's a fool's errand, bro. He's displayed numerous times that he is a very passionate and potent filmmaker when it comes to making movies that draw in the crowds, that are very unique. And I know a lot of people sometimes have disagreement, or they're just not a fan of sort of the underlining themes that he has within his movies, and especially this one with his stance on sort of the environmental approach and preserving nature and humans having a negative effect on the at-large ecosystem, like these major implications that we have for where our society is going with our world, with pollution and stuff. I know some people are like, well, I don't want that. I don't want politics. I wouldn't really call it politics, but as someone who, I really love animals and I really love nature, and I do have some opinions on these types of things. If you see any of my reactions, whenever I see a city, I'm like, oh, that's so ugly, because I don't like cities that much. But really, the way he integrated it in the first story to where Earth was a dying world, and Jake said, look in Grace's memories when he's talking to Awa at the Tree of Souls, and he said, there's no green where I come from. The humans, they killed their mother, meaning Mother Earth. I thought it was so simple, but so powerful. And Grace Augustine as a character who just loved nature and the people, and understanding that the wealth of the world isn't in the ground, it's not the minerals, it's all around you. So I love the underlining themes about environmentalism, even though some people might not like that as me, as sort of like a passionate lover of nature and shit. I really do appreciate that, because I really do think that not this movie can inspire better change, but it does make you feel like, oh, we could and we should do better to keep our home, to keep Earth in a better condition. So I admire him for doing that and not giving a shit when people are saying that he needs to stop putting that in the movie. This might be the longest teaser trailer discussion I've ever had, but it's true. I'm very excited for this movie. It's my second most anticipated movie of this year. That was after the Batman. Thor: Love and Thunder would come third, but this is my second most anticipated movie. I cannot wait for this. I still remember in 2010, on my Wii, I had the Avatar game. Believe it or not, that was so fun, but it's so outdated now, but time flies. It really does. So here we are 13 years later with the second Avatar, The Way of Water. And I can't lie, before we wrap this up, I'm not really a fan of that title. I saw the other titles, like one of them was like the Tolkien Rider, The Seed Bearer, and Quest for Awa. I'm like, very sort of Indiana Jones type of cheesy adventure titles. I'm not really a big fan of those, but I'm just like, whatever. If you can deliver on the movie in all fronts, I would be more than pleased with. If the only criticism is just the name of the damn title, that's fine. So I think this movie is going to be stellar. When they do the official trailer, we'll go more in length, but yeah, I'm very excited. If you can't already tell, I'm very excited for this. Avatar is one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to ask me anything in the comments, feel free, or if you just want to have a little talk, want to say anything, also feel free, because if you're an Avatar fan, you are not alone, even though for some reason Twitter is making it out that we're in the minority when this movie is going to do wild. So yeah, don't underestimate James Cameron. And tomorrow, my series finale reaction to Moon Knight. I know I have put that off a while, but yeah, tomorrow. So yeah.